Despite what was a disastrous performance down at the Amex yesterday, various sources surrounding West Ham have confirmed that the board have no intentions of sacking David Moyes. That's what's coming up on today's show. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Now, it's deflating, but it's not surprising whatsoever, is it? I think we all knew this. Well, we all thought that any sort of normal board, or well functioning and wanting to get the best out of the team, squad and surroundings, David Moyes would have been long gone into the sunset by now. But again, we still sit here with David Moyes as our manager. Another day, another night, we'll go to bed and wake up with David Moyes remaining as West Ham United manager somehow in some way. You'd have thought, after what was embarrassing, to be fair, we haven't been the worst team this weekend, have we? As it stands, Manchester United are losing to Liverpool 7-0. but back to the matter. It's just incredibly deflating. We sit here after an awful 4-0 loss away from home to a side that are very good. Let's not take it away from Brighton; they're a very, very good side. But it just seems, and I just can't steer away from the fact is that that's the worst West Ham performance I've ever seen. Now, I understand I haven't been supporting and following West Ham away from home as long as a lot of people have been. But even some people, going into their 30s and 40s have said that's the worst performance they've ever seen. It's baffling how the board sit here, and we all know that eventually the time's going to come where David Sullivan is going to sell his shares of the football club. And I can tell you now, Dave, they're going to be worth a lot less if we go down. If we go down, they're going to go from like a decent amount of money, bump down. And if he can't see that, then I don't know. I really don't know. So, you'd think it's within his best intentions, if he's thinking about selling the club very soon in the short term, to get a new manager in and to maybe give us some hope. Because anybody that can, watch football and has got a decent amount of football understanding knows that David Moyes is not getting us out of this mess. We've got big problems, and I can tell you that David Moyes is not going to fix them. His, sort of reluctancy, and, you just look at, if I pick out some of the issues that I saw just yesterday, keeping Johnson on with an absolute nightmare, changing a defender for a defender when we were, 1 or 2-0 down, making a midfield consolidation substitution, bringing Downs on when we're 3-0 down, the refusal to bring on our £30 million striker, Gianluca Scamacca, when we needed goals. It all adds up to a disaster class. It all adds up to a misunderstanding, really, doesn't it? Not logic, not at all what you'd expect a football manager to do if they wanted to win a football match, and it's baffling. But that is the only word for it. And if David, even if David Sullivan didn't watch the game yesterday, it is equally, appalling because of the result, because that's awful. But the manner of defeat as well is absolutely pathetic. The way we went out, the way we played, the way we just let Brighton do what they like. It was worse than a training game for them. They didn't have to do anything at all. They didn't get out of second gear. And if David Sullivan watched the full 90 minutes yesterday, and how we can still sit there and say we support and we have the full backing of David Moyes, then I've got no words, absolutely no words. And I've mentioned in the last couple of videos that I've done talking about this that I think they've left it too late, and I really do. I think they are now going to have to leave it till the end of the season because of the way that they've left it. They've prolonged it. They've tried to get the most out of it without having to, give David Moyes a payoff. They've tried to cut the corners, and it's ended up not working at all, because now we're left with 13 games in a season where we're sat a point above the relegation zone with teams around us giving the big boys a go, and with us papering over a couple of cracks last weekend. But apart from that, there's no hope. There's no hope whatsoever there. And that's the worrying thing about it. We're hunting for 3 teams worse than us, and the board are prepared to sit there and just let it all play out without making any drastic action, which I think is needed at the utmost level at the moment. I think David Moyes should have been relieved of his duties a long time ago, but they've stuck with him. They've tried to get the best out of him, and they've now just got to accept it's not going to work. He's given us some amazing times, but it's not going to work, and it's time to go, and it's time for the board to realise that. Otherwise, the shares and how much they're worth to David Sullivan is going to plummet, and he definitely won't like that. So I just think it's within the best intentions for everybody, for Moyes, because, it was frustrating, and a few people have highlighted it on Twitter yesterday when the fans started in a quite a in quite a loud fashion, singing "You don't know what you're doing." Moyes stormed out of his dugout and just stared at the away fans. Now that got the away fans' tails up even more than they already were. I think it's right for everybody if he goes now. But my fear is who we're going to get in. We'll dilly dally around, and I honestly don't know who we'll end up with. That's the only worrying thing about it. But even if we end up with anybody, if we end up with Nolan and Noble at the moment, I'm getting to that stage now where I go until the end of the season. It's not healthy for any party or all parties for David Moyes to remain in his post, to remain in his job as manager of West Ham United. I just think it's not good for anybody. And how the board's how the board are justifying his position at the moment is absolutely beyond me. But we'll wait to see whether we see anything else come out of it. I'd highly doubt it. I think they're going to stick with him, and I think they will until the end of the season now. You know, if they were going to sack him, they've had plenty of good opportunities, even over the last, 24 hours, 25 hours from me filming this, to do it, and they haven't done it. So I think that sends a clear message that they're going to stick with him whatever happens, which is worrying, because he's going to take us down if we carry on like this. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Get your thoughts of this in the comment section down below. Well, coincidentally, the support on the channel has been very, very good over the last couple of days. So thank you very much indeed for that. And David Moyes remains manager of West Ham United somehow. And we sit here, reaping the after effects of it and hoping that we can stay in this league, because we're currently, staying in it on a knife edge. And unless things change drastically, which they're not going to under this manager, it's only going one way, and we're going to have to try and hunt and find 3 teams worse than us. If you think there are 3 teams worse than us after that, or going off that performance yesterday, I'd really like to hear them, because that's the worst performance I've ever seen from West Ham United. There's the no fight, no desire, no passion, no want to win, was just the end for me. And for Moyes, I think, as much as he hasn't got power over how much effort players put in, how much passion players have got, but he's still got a flipping good say in tactics, how we go about games, substitutions. All of that comes down to him, even though the players, sense of it doesn't. There's still a hell of a lot that's got to fall on David Moyes' shoulders, even though a big proportion of the blame has got to go to the players, especially for yesterday, because Moyes couldn't control that, and that was completely not good enough. So yeah, blame has got to go both ways, and I'm fed up of seeing these press conferences after the game where it's just copy and pasted same dross from the manager, from the players. It's the same. We'll try and fix the problems. We'll go again next week. The refusal to accept any accountability, any responsibility, is just point blank naive. And yeah, it's just really depressing at the moment, isn't it? Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Check out our channel sponsors from West Ham, an official SRM Karma & Son and Manscaped. Check them out using the link in the description down below. Hopefully, and that's very, very hopefully, we can see some good times soon at West Ham. But under the current manager and under the current way of, the fan base and the players, then it's not going to change anytime soon. We head on to a game against Larnaca on Thursday night, which is irrelevant at the moment. And I feel for the fans that are having to go out there, spent, upwards of £1,000 again. I expect fans going out there, the players, the manager, they don't deserve us. They've made that quite clear from press conferences. And I think it's time for them to go, especially David Moyes. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.